The lobby smelled like citrus and cold stone. Fluorescents hummed in their plastic coffins, a thin, insect sound. The revolving doors breathed sliding glass, compressed air. The quick shiver of winter sneaking under coats. Denise pushed a blue bucket along the seam where the marble turned from gloss to matte, laying a figure eight of clean the way. A careful hand signs its name. Her cartwheel had a chip in it and made a soft cricket click. She liked the click. It kept time. Shoes clacked. Phones murmured. Coffee lids hissed when people snapped them on like helmets. A man in a navy jacket squinted at the touchscreen directory, thick frames sliding, finger hovering over a floor he didn't trust. Denise didn't pause the mock. 18楼在那边, she said, pointing with the handle to the left bank. 18th floor. The Mandarin came out easy. A key fitting a lock, it remembered. He exhaled and smiled with his whole face. 谢谢. He went. A courier in a brown cap rolled a dolly through the turnstile, label flapping like a loose tooth. Perdona? ¿A dónde? Registro atrás, she said. Luego ascensor B. Low first, then B. He blinked, grateful, and turned like a ship catching wind. A vendor hovered over a pyramid of mislabeled boxes, frown lines deepening. Salle de conférence B. C. À gauche, she said. Suivez la ligne grise. Left, follow the gray line. She drew it with the mop head, a graceful arc that made the floor look smarter than it was. Across the lobby, Jonathan Kellerman stopped mid-stride, briefcase in one hand, phone in the other, a man whose morning was always a map, not because he heard Mandarin or Spanish or French. The building ate languages all day and digested them into invoices. He stopped because of who was speaking. Burgundy scrubs, black non-slip shoes, a woman with short twists pulled back and a posture that didn't apologize. He had a list in his head of the best translators he'd paid this quarter. This voice wasn't on it. This voice was better. He set the briefcase down without meaning to. The hum sharpened. Somewhere, a printer coughed paper. "Excuse me," he said. She looked up. Calm eyes. No flinch. The mop stilled as if it understood hierarchy, then ignored it. "Yes, sir." That was Mandarin, he said. "Yes, you speak it." "I do." "And Spanish, and French," she nodded once. "Portuguese, German, Arabic, Italian, Swahili. I read Latin." 9. He did the count twice, because the number moved like a trick. 20 years in global logistics, and he'd taught himself to hide surprise under management. The muscle didn't quite fire. "What's your name?" "Denise Atwater." "Ms. Atwater, are you free for a few minutes?" Her gaze moved wet square, drying to a dull gray. Clock on the back wall 1 second fast. Cart parked with the chipped wheel intentionally clipped against the baseboard so it wouldn't drift. She wiped her hands on her uniform and set the mop in the bucket where it could stand without falling. "All right," she said. The elevator sealed them into brushed steel, quiet. He watched their reflections slide into elongated people who both looked busier than they felt. A faint, lemon cleaner smell clung to her sleeves. "How long have you worked here?" he asked. 13 years. "You ever been to 18? "Not to the carpet that edits footsteps," she said, and the corner of his mouth twitched because the line was accurate and not cruel. The doors opened to a higher air citrus and leather, glass that made the sky behave. The receptionist lifted her head, eyes widening at the sight of Denise beside him. He didn't explain. He didn't know how to explain the feeling he had right now that something was misfiled under his nose. His office was glass on 3 sides and hung with a world map peppered with pins like a bruised globe. A dusty plaque from a Brussels trade show sulked on the credenza between a family photo and a tray of espresso cups, aligned too perfectly. "Please," he said, gesturing to a chair that rolled half an inch, and then thought better of it. She sat, careful, hands folded in her lap, gaze orbiting the room's objects without assessing their price. Not impressed, just observant. That difference mattered to him, and he wasn't sure why. "I didn't expect to have this conversation today," he said. "I expected floors," she said. "Everything else is extra." He smiled despite himself. "You speak 9 languages." "Yes." "Sia." "How?" "My mother believed in libraries. My father believed in work. I learned the sounds the way people learn roots, by walking them until your feet don't need your eyes." She shrugged. "YouTube helps. So do newspapers. You can wear a language in your mouth if you carry it long enough." He listened. He didn't interrupt with impressed noises. Her voice had the plain, unshowy cadence of someone making a list in the right order. He reached for a legal pad because words felt too loose without paper. "There's a meeting at 4, he said. "São Paulo." Translator cancelled. They like the word garantia because it photographs as confidence. "Confidence is free," she said. "Surety isn't." He stopped writing. He liked the way she put nouns where verbs went and made both do more work. "Will you help?" "Portuguese?" she asked. "Yes, I can do that." Maria from legal knocked once and entered without waiting. Sleeves rolled, pencil behind her ear like a blade. "Pre-brief at 3. Sancher," she said, sliding a one-pager across the desk. English left, Portuguese right. Meanings pinned together so they couldn't wander. A meet from procurement hovered at the threshold. T almost cooperating. "Shipping windows are tight," he said. "We can pull 5 days, only if we move some tests into acceptance. Don't change nouns to fix verbs," Denise said. And both of them looked at her in the way people look at a weather vane that just saved their roof. He watched her watching how his office worked. The map, the espresso, the world that had felt disciplined and, in this moment, faintly performative. "How long have you—" He stopped, asked the better question. "What do you want to do here?" "Translate," she said, then added, "Not just words, rooms." "How do you translate a room?" "You build hinges," she said. Then T. He didn't understand in any policy sense, but his gut did. "Thank you," he said, which wasn't standard in his vocabulary before 9 a.m. Back in the lobby, the air was colder and truer. She reclaimed the mop handle and drew another quiet arc over the marble. The building exhaled as if someone had opened a vent that had been painted shut. Her phone buzzed. Asterisk. Asterisk. Pre-brief. 3:30 room 12C. Dress code. None. She smiled. Clothes had rules. So did rooms. So did verbs. At 3:30, the projector warmed the air with the smell of burnt dust. Maria ran her finger down a short agenda. Each line a good bone. 3 anchors, she said. Delivery window. Holdback. Liability performance support. Not surety. Denise translated meanings, not words, and offered small, exact phrases like tools, o prazo que aguenta a auditoria, a timeline that survives an auditor. Amit clipped numbers around them like rivets. At 4, an airport lounge appeared on screen, leather chairs, and a bartender polishing an already clean glass. "Boa tarde," the ops chief said. "Smile." "Pre-installed. Vamos em português," Denise replied, palm open, inviting them into their own house. The room changed. Shoulders unwound, eyes sharpened. They pushed. She let them. Then she moved the conversation to a shelf that could bear weight. "If we pull 5 days," she asked, "from where? Scope? Tests? Or do we change a word and let the invoice punish us later?" The ops chief laughed, caught, relieved. "3 dias," he said, hand opening. They traded specificity like gifts. Maria flagged traps without theater. Amit offered numbers that could meet morning. When he tried Garantia, Denise smiled. That word pays high rent in English, she said. We prefer to pay with results, not insurance. He conceded without losing face. Retenção então. Retention it is. 27 minutes. They left time on the table. They'll eat it, Denise said when the screen went to black, and send a fruit basket, Amit murmured. The elevator floated her back to the lobby's colder truth. She parked the mop upright and set the caution triangle where hurry couldn't argue. Her phone buzzed again. Asterisk. Asterisk. Morocco norms. Tomorrow. 9:00 and beneath it, from Maria, tea first, verbs later. Denise looked up at the mezzanine, the training room empty and ready, whiteboard straight, chairs stacked like good soldiers. She imagined steam unfurling in glass cups, mint breaking open under a spoon, rooms translated with hinges and heat. She wiped a streak. The mop had missed, a narrow crescent that would have embarrassed her later. The building hummed. People streamed. She felt the quiet satisfaction of a tool put down correctly. Kellerman watched through glass as she returned the yellow sign to its slot on the cart, handle threaded so it wouldn't fall when the wheel snagged. Precision was love. He wondered, briefly and uncomfortably, how many times he had walked past love that kept his hallways honest. Ms. Atwater, he said when he reached her again. Tomorrow at 9. I'll bring the hinges, she said. And tea, he added. That too. He started to walk away, then turned back with something like a confession forming. Her phone buzzed in her palm. A new email slid onto the screen, polite as a glove on a fist. Asterisk, asterisk, tiny correction. Dubai Annex Final. Asterisk, asterisk, same file name as yesterday. Same smile. She didn't open it. Not yet. She copied it to the vault first. Let the lock bless it. Then she opened both the one from yesterday, the one from now side by side. Leftbane. Asterisk, asterisk. Retention of title. Asterisk, asterisk, steel bar. Right pane. Guarante. Asterisk, asterisk. Steel reheated and bent into a necklace. She clicked Properties. Asterisk, asterisk, Author. A. Craig. Asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Modified. Arshasan. Arshasan. Asterisk. Asterisk. Track changes. Accepted. Comments. None. Upstairs, somewhere between glass and leather, a blue suit rehearsed a speech about courage. Down here, Denise set the mop in the bucket, resolute, and slid the cart against the baseboard so the chipped wheel wouldn't drift. She powered the phone off and on again, not because she believed in magic, but because resets are a kind of prayer. The revolving doors breathed, fluorescence hummed. The marble's cold radiance held. A hinge waited. A lock remembered. A word had just changed its clothes, and the building, which had learned to swallow echoes, listened. The building sighed as evening thinned. That half hour when suits go quiet and vacuums start to clear their throats. Denise rode up with an empty paper cup, so it looked like she belonged on carpet after hours. 12 glowed the cool white of screensaver light. She set the cup down, slid into her chair, and opened the two files side by side. Leftbane. Asterisk, asterisk. Retention of title. Asterisk, asterisk. A steel bar across a doorway. Right pane. Guarante. Asterisk, asterisk. The bar reheated, bent into something pretty and dangerous. She didn't trust eyes alone. She sent the new file through the vault's intake. The worm module hummed, a small, approving green pulse. She clicked properties on the altered annex. Asterisk, asterisk, author. E. Craig. Modified. Arshasan. Arshasan. Asterisk, asterisk. Track changes accepted. Comments none. The kind of nothing that tries to pass for innocent. Maria appeared without knocking. Hair up. Pencil tucked behind her ear at an angle like a pin. She read the right pane in 3 seconds and the left in 2. They dressed a liability in our clothes, she said quietly. Vault has yesterday, Denise replied. 17. 14. Dual signature captured. Immutable. Good. Maria sat, shoulders squaring to the work. We answer in plain English. We name the breach, the fix, and the rule. She pulled a pad and wrote as she spoke. Asterisk, asterisk. Unauthorized edit guarantee. Replacing retention of title. Contrary to dual signature policy adopted this morning. Reverting to retention. Logging breach. Denise sent the corrective to legal and procurement and CC'd the counterpart's inbox with the subject line asterisk, asterisk, reverting to retention per policy. Asterisk, asterisk. She attached the worm checksum and watched the progress bar bless the moment. Somewhere behind the glass, a file put on its armor. Her phone buzzed with a text from facilities. Asterisk, asterisk, break room out of mint, asterisk, asterisk, and beneath it, asterisk, asterisk, Ron, asterisk, asterisk. She smiled despite the knot under her sternum and typed back, asterisk, asterisk. Stealing some from cafe. Tea first, verbs later. They took the freight down. The service corridor's air carried disinfectant and warm dust from vents that never slept. Ron's office was a desk that had never asked for a promotion and a whiteboard with someone's kid's drawing taped at the corner. He was sorting microfiber cloths by color, the kind of order that keeps men like him sane when budgets misbehave. You vanished, he said, not accusing, just noticing. His hands kept moving. Borrowed upstairs, she said. We need mint for 9 a.m. He grinned with his eyes. Civil rights, he said. I'll raid the stash. The grin went. He pulled a folded paper from a drawer and smoothed it with the heel of his hand. Transition plan nights. Vendor selected. Keys collected Friday. Benefits reevaluated. Training paid blank. Rumor turned into bullets, he said. His voice was steady, because he made a living holding steady. They want to pick up the ring and call it modernization. Denise ran a finger along the margin, as if feeling for an answer under the paper grain. We'll ask for minutes, she said. Names, timestamps, counter-signatures. Sunshine makes cheap liars expensive. He chuckled once. Lo, you and your light, he said. You sure it won't blind you? It hasn't yet. Back upstairs. Victor waved them into ops at the edge of a flurry that had already failed twice. Forwarders flagged a hold last week and forgot to tell us when it lifted, he said, flattening an invoice like a suspect. We paid storage for 7 days because no one flipped a verb. Who was importer of record? Denise asked. We were in Q3. Not now. Then last quarter's ghost is eating this quarter's lunch. She wrote a sentence on a scrap and slid it across. Asterisk, asterisk. No shipment sleeps until release acknowledged is time-stamped. 2 signatures, ours and the forwarder's. Asterisk, asterisk. 1 box to check, she added. Make it law after tea. Victor read it. Then read hair. The square set of his jaw softened by a degree. He nodded and handed the sentence to an ops tech the way a field medic hands over a tourniquet. On 12, the projector wheezed hot dust again while Maria and Denise rehearsed the morning. 3 anchors. Maria said, tapping the whiteboard. Delivery windows. Hold back. Liability performance support, not surety. If they bring Garantia again, we walk it off the page. Mint. Glasses. A pen that doesn't scratch. Denise said, people listen when sugar melts. She took a sip from her cup. The cafe's mint wasn't as good as the stash Ron liberated, but the steam did its job on her throat. The plant on her sill had turned a fraction toward the winter light, choosing its angle without asking. Denise rotated the pot a finger's width. Wanting his half, she murmured, and opened a new email window. She typed to it. Asterisk, asterisk. Please lock board edit permissions on contract folders until we formalize the policy. Worm on by default. Dual key enforced. She didn't hit send. Not yet. She saved it to drafts. Measure twice. Cut once. Her father used to say over pipe. He also said, asterisk. If a thing matters, write it where your future self can find it. At 9 p.m., a Shanghai engineer pinged the general channel with a small fire and 3 emojis that tried to be brave. UI copy in Mandarin to de-escalate a hot thread with a vendor. Denise threaded the line clean. Precise. The engineer exhaled in text and wrote, if you were in Shenzhen, we'd steal you. She replied, asterisk, asterisk, borrowed works fine. Asterisk, asterisk. By 10, her screen glowed with that particular rectangle of white that makes eyes ache. She opened her drawer and slid the night badge forward. The plastic dulled by years, numbers almost sanded off by lanyards. She placed a fresh sticky note above it. Asterisk, asterisk. Minutes are promises we can prove. Board is not an editing room. Asterisk, asterisk. The drawer closed with the soft, convincing click she'd come to trust. Her phone vibrated. Malia, night shift at the hospital. The video call lit Malia's face in fluorescent mercy. You eating? Malia asked. Tea counts, Denise said, and lifted the cup. Tomorrow's a mint morning. Tea before verbs, Malia said. Tired laugh. You'll be great. Don't let them turn you into a letterhead. I'm trying to be a hinge, Denise said. Malia put a hand to the camera. A kiss in proxy. The call ended. The room regained its small noises, vents, building heartbeats. A print head, sighing 2 rooms away. Near midnight, the IT analyst knocked and hovered, laptop hugged to his chest. We had 2 portal pokes, he said, voice pitched low because numbers have dignity when spoken softly. One at 21, 14 probing permissions. The other at 23, 23. The final you flagged. We're logging device IDs. Lock the tracks, Maria said from her doorway. She'd heard, because lawyers hear, and because the building carried certain words farther than others. Tomorrow, we show tapes, not takes, at 01:12 am, while Denise was alphabetizing printouts so her hands wouldn't go idle. The analyst sent a single-sentence email that felt like a breath held, then released. Edit attempt denied. Deletion denied. Logs captured. Asterisk, asterisk. He attached a move of the cursor, failing with exquisite clarity. The lock icon glowed in the corner like a modest saint. Denise didn't smile. Relief and anger braided into something steadier. She forwarded the clip to a folder labeled asterisk asterisk receipts asterisk asterisk and put one printout under the sticky note in her drawer. Paper doesn't panic. She finally stood back, popping softly, and walked the hall. Lights dimmed on sensors, and then decided she mattered, and woke. At the window, she looked down at the lobby marble, returning the moonlight like it was paid to do so. A cleaner down there put the yellow sign at an angle, that made the room safer by a degree only seasoned eyes appreciate. Denise felt an ache she knew by its first footstep. The rumor about nights had teeth. She took the stairs to the service level, where breath fogs in winter and conversation moves in low bands. In the break room, someone had left a note on the corkboard. Asterisk, asterisk, we see you. Asterisk, asterisk. Block letters, not fancy. She took a picture and sent it to herself with the subject asterisk, asterisk, keep this asterisk, asterisk. On the way back up, the elevator stopped at 18. The doors slid open to a carpet that edited footsteps. Eleanor stood alone in the hall like a painting that moved. The blue suit held its own color temperature. Ms. Atwater, she said, not a question. Ms. Craig, Denise said, not a bow. Eleanor's eyes flicked to the file folder under Denise's arm, then back to her face. We appreciate agility, she said, voice warm but heatless. Our partners respond to courage. Courts respond to verbs, Denise said. We prefer the kind that survive audits. A breath of something that might have been amusement touched Eleanor's mouth. Tomorrow at 10, she said, Town Hall. We'll discuss decisiveness. She pivoted and walked away, heels selecting a rhythm. The hallway readily accepted. Back at her desk, Denise sent the IT draft. She didn't wait for sleep to file a counter-argument. Asterisk, asterisk, board portal edits, disabled on contract directories. Pending policy, asterisk, asterisk, came back in 10 minutes with a thumbs-up emoji that felt braver than usual. She set 3 glass cups and a kettle on the conference table before leaving. Because morning behaves better when it recognizes itself. The mint waited in a brown paper sack Ron had hidden beneath a stack of towels. She left the training room door open by a deliberate inch, hinges like that. In the lobby, the revolving doors breathed her into winter's thin mouth. The air smelled like metal, choosing to be clean. Traffic stitched red lines through the dark. She tucked her hands in her coat and felt the thin key Ron had given her kiss, her palm teeth short. Useful. Honest. Her phone buzzed once more. An address she didn't know. Asterisk. Asterisk. Investors sleep on guarantees. If legal softens again, attach as final through portal. Asterisk. Asterisk. No greeting. No signature. Just the sentence and its breath. She forwarded it to it. Asterisk. Asterisk. Bookmark. Don't chase. Asterisk. Asterisk. Then she turned the phone face down in her pocket and let the night be louder than worry for a block and a half. Upstairs, a lock did its unheroic work. On the 12th floor, a plant committed to an angle. In a drawer, a badge and a note and a sentence on a sticky waited like small, stubborn lights. Denise walked home with mint on her hands and verbs lined up in her head, each one carrying its own weight. In the morning, there would be tea. There would be minutes. There would be rooms to translate. And somewhere between a slide deck and a log file, a word would try again to pay rent. It didn't owe. Steam curled from the kettle in a thin white rope, carrying mint and a promise. Denise rinsed 3 small glasses, lined them on the conference table, and cracked the leaves with the back of a spoon until the room smelled like a remembered garden. The whiteboard weighted clean, squared. A black marker clipped like a tool. Amit poked his head in first. Tea. Almost cooperating. Ops chief brought an entourage. He said, 2 suits and a smile. Sugar's in the drawer. Denise answered, we'll sweeten the air. Not the terms. Maria arrived, penciled behind her ear at that fighting angle. 3 anchors, she said, tapping the board. Delivery window. Hold back. Liability performance support. Not surety. The delegation from Casablanca came quietly. A tall woman in linen with a face built for patience. A man in a dusk-colored tie, who looked like he'd been up since the airport decided to be difficult. They paused at the threshold the way people do when they aren't sure if a room is hostile or hospitable. Denise touched her chest, and the air, "Salam," she said in Moroccan Arabic. "Tea first." Verbs behave better after mint. A small smile escaped both faces. They sat, steam unknotted shoulders. Sugar dissolved like a strategy. "We're aligned on purpose," the woman said, careful. "The trouble is how we write courage into the paper. Courage is cheap," Maria said. "Accountability isn't." The man tried the word everyone tries. "Guarante," he offered. Not a demand, a test balloon. Denise uncapped the marker and wrote two nouns side by side. Asterisk, asterisk, retention, asterisk, asterisk, and asterisk, asterisk, GURNT. Asterisk, asterisk. She drew a line between them like a road you choose and live with. "This one asks us to ensure your obligation," she said, tapping guarantee. "This one recognizes we're partners, but not each other's bank." She paused. "We prefer plans that survive auditors." Contained laughter. "Respect, not surrender." The woman leaned in. "If we agree on retention," she said, "we need time that doesn't drown our people. We stage acceptance." Amit said, "Real holdback, not theater. Milestones tied to tests. No one waits 60 days to breathe." They built the page like carpenters. Measure, mark, cut, sand. Owners named, verbs bolded. Dates that wouldn't turn into soon. The dusk-tie man pointed at a sentence and frowned. "This part customs. We fixed the ghost from last quarter." Denise said, "No shipment sleeps until release acknowledged is timestamped. 2 signatures. Yours and ours." He tapped the margin box. "Boxes are honest." Maria smiled, without showing teeth. "Exactly." They closed on a handshake that didn't pretend to be friendship, and didn't need to. The woman touched her chest again, gratitude widening her eyes. "No one has ever begun with our language," she said softly. "You changed the room. Rooms want to be useful." Denise said, "We give them hinges." The delegation left behind the clean clink of empty glasses. Denise wiped a ring from the table with the side of her hand. The whiteboard stood there, verbs still wet. She let them breathe. At 10, the town hall gathered like weather. Floor 17 filled with expensive certainty, and its quieter cousin, caution. A projector woke, coughing a little heat. Eleanor stood near the podium in a blue, so exact you could print with it. Her smile knew cameras. "Thank you for coming," she began. "We are at an inflection point. Markets reward decisiveness." The slide behind her popped with verbs in fonts that thought highly of themselves. Asterisk, asterisk, expand, dominate, guarantee. The word hit Denise's ribs, the way a wrong key hits a lock. Glancing, stubborn, noisy. Maria lifted her chin a quarter inch. The IT analyst at the console glanced at them both, waiting for a cue. Eleanor kept going, the cadence of a practiced song. "Our partners need to hear strong language. Our teams need to see boldness. Guarantees. Make auditors rich." Amit muttered from the row behind. "Too low to travel. Just loud enough to pay off a private joke." Kellerman stood 3 chairs down from the head, hands empty, face steady. He didn't interrupt. He looked at the console. Maria stepped forward before anyone invited her. "We adopted a rule this week," she said, voice even as a level. "Dual signatures for any verb that moves risk. Worm archive on. Tapes, not takes." She nodded at the analyst. He tapped his tablet. Eleanor's slide shrank to the right, suddenly polite. The left half filled with gray on white scripture. Ling Yi, 12 edit attempt, denied. Ling Zhou, 41 deletion attempt, denied. Asterisk, asterisk. Metadata bloomed. Device ID. User initials. Theme stamps. The small lock icon glowing like a modest saint. A ripple moved across the room, the sound money makes when it realizes it has been overruled by physics. The silver-haired director clicked his pen once, which in this room meant times I'm done disagreeing with gravity asterisk. Maria kept it kind. Someone tried to push guarantee into a final last night. She said, the lock held, we're reverting to retention. The counterparty has acknowledged. She lifted a printed email with 2 clean sentences. Asterisk, asterisk. Retention makes sense. Thanks for the clarity. No emojis. Adults doing adult work. Eleanor's smile never left, but the temperature behind it moved. Governance requires access, she said, letting warmth carry the word. We were aligning language. Alignment happens in daylight, Denise said from the side wall. She didn't step forward. She didn't need volume to be heard. Oversight reads, authoring signs. Kellerman stood now, slow, no theater. We bled on edits nobody could source. He said, this lock saved us a headline. Oversight will oversee. It won't author. Portal permissions narrow today. The analyst nodded almost imperceptibly, already moving. The slide behind Eleanor disappeared entirely, replaced by a single sentence Maria had pushed through legal that morning. Asterisk. Asterisk. Minutes are promises we can prove. Silence held, assessed the room, decided to leave without incident. Motions carried, read only for the board on contract folders. Monthly log reviews. The practical kind of courage. In the corridor afterward, oxygen returned to its usual price. Eleanor gathered her papers with care. So practiced it had dignity. She passed Denise within a yard and spoke without turning her head. Enjoy your minutes, she said. Rooms change tenants. Hingestay, Denise replied, back on 12. The plant on the sill had rotated another degree toward light, like slow applause. The wrapped plaque sat on the shelf, quiet as a kept promise. Denise opened her drawer and slid a fresh printout on top of the night badge. Asterisk, asterisk. Town hall logs, shown permissions narrowed. Asterisk, asterisk. The drawer closed with its soft, convincing click. Slack chimed with polite relief. The easy heart, the careful thumbs up. In facilities, the note on the corkboard grew a little tail of responses. Asterisk, asterisk. We see you asterisk, asterisk. Had gathered a asterisk, asterisk. We see us asterisk, asterisk underneath in block letters. Tidy. Denise took a picture and filed it where she kept fuel. Noon brought the flavor of coffee burned for the second time. Victor appeared in her doorway with a page that could be a fix or a fire. Ops memo, he said. Storage rule. Live. No shipment sleeps until timestamp. 2 signatures. We stole your sentence. Take 2, she said. Language wants circulation. He hesitated, weight shifting, as if he might say more, and chose not to. Town hall went how you wanted, he said, and left before she could decide what that meant. Afternoon dragged its feet the way buildings do after adrenaline. Denise wrote the training agenda on the whiteboard asterisk asterisk, voice inside pilot. Bring what you know, leave with verbs. Asterisk, asterisk. Bao stuck his head in, hair pointing the wrong direction. Smile shy. Can I show my spreadsheet trick today? He asked. Please, she said. Make them believe in boxes. At 4, the room filled with people who don't usually get rooms. Reception. Warehouse. 2 engineers pretending they wandered in by accident. Denise started with names And one thing you know how to do better than most, laughter loosened collars. Pride showed up in work clothes and didn't apologize. Halfway through, Ron settled into a back chair like a man who had earned sitting. His hands were clean in that way. That means a sink has seen honest use. When she asked for a rule he trusted, he lifted a palm. Check your bucket wheels, he said. If they wobble, your line looks straight until it doesn't. Then the whole hallway's crooked. It landed. People nodded the way bodies do when truth hits bone. They finished with minutes, a page that asked for owners and dates and let memory rest. Kellerman stood in the doorway for the last 5 minutes and didn't perform approval. He just watched a room turn into a tool. Evening lowered the temperature by a degree. The plaque's cardboard came off with a dry whisper. Asterisk, asterisk, Atwater room. Asterisk, asterisk, gleamed without showing off. Denise held it against the bracket and felt the screws bite. Level. True. She wiped a fingerprint because ceremony is just cleaning in a suit. She packed the extra templates, rinsed the glasses, turned the kettle off. At the switch, on her desk, her phone buzzed with a single new subject line that didn't dress itself up. Asterisk, asterisk, transition plan night's keys by Friday. Asterisk, asterisk. She didn't open it. Not yet. She put her palm flat on the desk until the first bright impulse to break something got bored and left. Downstairs, the revolving doors breathed the building into the street. Denise took the stairs to feel the day in her legs. The service corridor held that low, human buzz. The sound of work that keeps other work possible. Ron stood by the key locker, ring heavy in his hand, eyes steady. They want the ring at noon Friday, he said. They called the benefits legacy. As legacy is a word that pays rent late, she said. He almost smiled. You'll be all right, he said. Make sure the new kids check their wheels. I will, she said, and meant it like a vow. They stood for a breath. He nodded. She nodded back. Small ceremony. Larga Burden. Back in the lobby, she paused at the mezzanine rail and watched a cleaner set the yellow sign exactly where angle meets mercy. One drop fell from a mop head and tapped marble with a sound that didn't need amplification. Her phone buzzed again. No sender name. Asterisk. Asterisk. If legal softens again, attach as final through portal. Investors sleep on guarantees. Asterisk. Asterisk. No. Hello. No goodbye. Just the sentence and its breath. She forwarded it to IT with 3 words. Asterisk, asterisk, bookmark. Don't chase. Asterisk, asterisk. Then she slid the phone into her coat and let the city's night draft carry her toward the doors. Outside, the air held a crisp, metal cleanliness. She tucked her hands into her pockets and felt the thin spare key Ron had given her press a crescent into her palm. Keys remember hands, hinges like oil, locks like keyed faith. She crossed on the white just as it began to blink red. The building behind her hummed on. Practical, unromantic, ready to be kept honest. Up on 12, a plant settled into its chosen angle. In a drawer, a badge waited under a page that told the truth, and somewhere in the wires, a word that liked to pay rent. It didn't owe. Looked for another door. Something would knock before morning. She could feel it in the air. Morning, rinse 12 with a clean, hard light. Denise slid her key into the lock, felt the small resistance, the surrender. The plant on her sill had turned a fraction, choosing its angle without apology. On the shelf, a wrapped rectangle, brown paper, blue painter's tape, the weight of something that wanted to be true. She didn't open it. Not yet. Her screen woke to a neat stack. Asterisk. Asterisk. Special Session Governance 11. Censure. Asterisk. Asterisk. Transition Plan Night's Keys. By Friday. Asterisk. Asterisk. A quiet ping from IT. Asterisk. Asterisk. Access attempts continued overnight. Lock held. Asterisk. Asterisk. The small green bar in the corner pulsed like a calm throat. Ron appeared in the doorway with a ring of keys, cupped like a bird he didn't trust the room with. They chimed once and settled. Every door has its own metal, he said. Thumb, traveling the teeth. Boiler room's warmer. South stairwell is mean in winter. Keep this one, she said, easing the thinnest key from the ring. It lay in his palm like a sliver of stubborn daylight. He slid it back to her, and she set it in the drawer next to the dulled badge and a folded, anonymous note that made posture easier. The drawer closed with its soft, convincing click. Maria followed. Scarf loosened, pencil already angled for work. They'll try to call last night alignment, she said, flattening a one-pager with steady fingers. We'll bring logs, not adjectives. Tia, at 4. Denise said. More chairs inside. I'll steal sugar, Maria replied. At 11. Censure. 17's big room had the hush of polished glass, deciding what truth it would reflect. Directors took their marked seats like chess pieces confident in diagonals. 2 external lawyers unrolled laptops with the economy of people who bill in increments. Eleanor arrived last, blue tailored to an exact hex, smile calibrated to charm and survive. We'll be efficient, the older lawyer said, tone like a sharpened ruler. We're here to understand timeline and permissions. The IT analyst projected the server log, gray on white scripture. Arshayi, 14 Pro. Arshasan, 23 edit attempt. Lingzhou, 41 deletion attempt. All denied. Metadata blinked with device IDs and user initials. The lock icon glowed in the corner. A modest halo. Board oversight. Eleanor began. Smooth as a second pour. Requires access to a line, not after dual key adoption, the lawyer said, almost kind. We'll recommend read-only for governance on contract folders. Oversight reads, authoring signs, silence tested its leg. The silver-haired director clicked his pen once the room's Morse code for times. This argument is over asterisk. Kellerman stood without taking the head seat. We formalized today, he said. Portal permissions narrow. Monthly log reviews. Tapes beat takes. Eleanor's smile thinned a shade. You could only see if you'd practiced noticing. She gathered her pages with reverent care and inclined her head the smallest degree. Decisiveness still matters, she said to no one in particular. So do receipts, Maria answered, quieter than a gavel, louder than pride. Outside, oxygen priced itself normal again. In the corridor, Kellerman walked with them halfway to the elevators, a man escorting his weather front. You okay? He asked. I'm a hinge, Denise said. Hingers don't get dizzy. Keep them oiled, he said. Back on 12, the plant's leaves caught light and held it like small hands. Denise unwrapped the rectangle. Asterisk. Asterisk. Atwater room. Asterisk. Asterisk. Black letters on brushed steel. Honest heft. She propped it against the wall where it could preview itself and return to the day's narrow river. The company feed lit with policy. Asterisk. Asterisk. Contract. Artifact editing update. Dual key enforced. Board portal read-only. Logs retained. Minutes are promises we can prove. Asterisk, asterisk. Reactions stacked thumbs. Hearts. A long quiet from the floor that despises drama and worships discipline. Under it, an ops post appeared. Storage rule live. No shipment sleeps until release acknowledged. Time-stamped. 2 signatures. Asterisk, asterisk. The sentence looked familiar. She let the smile happen anyway. At noon, facilities formalized the rumor. Transition plan nights. Outsourcing effective Friday. Asterisk, asterisk. Bullet points arranged what loss looks like when it dresses for a meeting. Keys collected. Training as needed. Benefits reviewed. Denise printed it. Paper absorbs shock better than glass. She carried the plaque down the hall at 3:50. The way people carry photographs, they're not yet ready to hang. The training room exhaled its familiar breath. Whiteboard squared. Chairs stacked. Kettle waiting for water like a throat, expecting song. She set the plaque on the bracket and left it loose. After, she told it, which is how ceremony keeps dignity. By 4, Lingar. Bodies filled the room beyond the architect's assumption. Reception. Warehouse. 2 engineers with code under their nails. A timid analyst hovering in the doorway as if customs might stop him. Denise taped the sign straighter. Asterisk, asterisk, voice inside pilot. Asterisk, asterisk. Under it, in fresh marker, asterisk, asterisk, more chairs inside. She began with names without titles. One thing you know how to do better than most. The room warmed around people describing competence without apology. Tasha from the lobby explained triaging 5 ringing lines like conducting. Bao mapped a spreadsheet like a city. A warehouse supervisor taught the physics of balancing a pallet so gravity respects you. Maria sketched 3 verbs on the board. Asterisk, asterisk, decide. Prepare. Sign. Asterisk, asterisk, minutes make memory cheap, she said. They respect your time. Denise handed out short templates like recipes. People bent over paper. Shoulders lowered. Laughter surfaced twice. Clean. Near the end, Ron took the second row seat he'd chosen on purpose. When she asked for a rule you can live by, he lifted his hand. Check your bucket wheels, he said. If they wobble, your line looks straight until it doesn't. Then the whole hallway's crooked. It landed with a small, collective wince, the good kind. When truth touches tendon, they clap, not for her, but for the room behaving like a tool. After, Denise lifted the plaque. Screws bit. Asterisk, asterisk. Atwater room. Asterisk, asterisk. Settled, level. She wiped 1 fingerprint. Because ceremony is just cleaning with better lighting. No speech? Maria murmured. Let the chairs talk, Denise said. 5 o'clock bent towards 6. People drifted, promising to bring someone next time. The way hope promises without paperwork. Kellerman lingered in the doorway. Hands empty. Looked like gravity in there, he said. Gravity's cheap if you respect it early, she replied. He glanced at the plaque, then at her, something like pride. Unperformed. Good, he said, and left the corridor to own its quiet. On her desk, an email waited with the politeness of a blade. Asterisk, asterisk. Transition plan nights keys by Friday. Asterisk, asterisk. She didn't open it. Not yet. She rested her palm flat against the wood until the impulse to break something stood up, stretched, and left. Downstairs. The service corridor wore end-of-day air. Disinfectant, coffee ghosts, the low burr of vents. Ron stood by the key locker at parade rest, the ring in his hand a circle that refused sentimentality. Noon, he said. They'll want them then. They called benefits legacy. Oh grouse. Legacy payee rent late, she said. A quick exhale that almost qualified as a laugh. I'll train the new crew anyway. he said. So the floors stay true. Pride is cheaper than bitterness. Bitterness bills hourly, she said, and they let the joke hold up a piece of the next hour. Back on the mezzanine, the lobby below performed its reliable choreography. A cleaner placed the yellow sign at a perfect diagonal, stepped back, moved it a finger's width, set it again. One drop fell from a mop head and ticked the marble. The sound was small and pure enough to make a person believe in measurements. Her phone buzzed once. A message with no face. Asterisk. Asterisk. If legal softens again, attaches final through portal. Investors sleep on guarantees. Asterisk. Asterisk. She forwarded it to IT with 3 words. Asterisk. Asterisk. Bookmark. Don't chase asterisk asterisk and put the screen face down. She turned off the kettle. She capped the marker. She passed a hand over the chairs, aligning a row by ½ inches. In her office, she opened the drawer and looked at the small reliquary badge. Note: thin key like a person checks a pocket watch before a hard conversation. The drawer closed. The room agreed. Night took the windows first and then the corners. The plant on the sill kept its angle. Denise shrugged into her coat and felt the thin key press a half moon against her palm through fabric. The body's way of remembering in metal. She stepped toward the elevators and stopped. A soft chime. New message. Asterisk. Asterisk. Private 700A. M. Parking level C. Asterisk asterisk. Subject line. Asterisk. Asterisk. Keys. Asterisk asterisk. No greeting, no signature. The kind of invitation you delete or obey, both with consequences. She looked down through the glass at the lobby's clean geometry, then at the letters on the door she'd just hung. Asterisk asterisk Atwater. Room asterisk asterisk. Answered with its own quiet weight. She slipped the phone into her pocket and felt, alongside the thin key, something like resolve. Find its place. The revolving doors breathed. The city exhaled the metallic cold that keeps a person awake between their car and their courage. Denise walked out into it, not quickly, not slow. Hingeshold. Locks, remember? Morning would have questions, and a room with her name on it would need more chairs. The garage on level C kept its own weather-cold air that smelled of rubber and brake dust, light that never rose past gray. Denise's breath wrote small ghosts as she stood beside a concrete pillar bisected by a crack some engineer had signed off on years ago. The message had said, asterisk, asterisk, 700A, M, parking level C, keys, asterisk, asterisk, no greeting, no signature, the kind of invitation you either delete or obey, both with consequences. Footsteps scraped. Victor emerged from the ramp's half-light, jacket unbuttoned, eyes fox-bright from a night that had worked him. He held his phone like a talisman. "You got it too," he said. "I did." Anonymous. Anonymous. Another set of steps softer, quicker. The IT analyst appeared, hoodie under a blazer, a look that said he believed in cables and proofs. He lifted a hand, as if interrupting a meeting already in progress. "Security asked me to check badge pings," he said. 2 after-hours entries through the board elevator, same device ID as the edit attempts. "We think someone cloned credentials." Or, "A car door closed." Eleanor stepped from a black sedan like someone who always had a driver, even if there was none now. No entourage, no portfolio, just the knife-calm voice. "We can skip the prologue," she said. "Your building hums." "My time bills." Denise said nothing. In the trapped gray of the garage, words felt like heat, useful if aimed. Eleanor looked at Victor first. "You edited around your own rule," she said. You thought the lock was political theater. He let out a short breath through his nose. I kept us moving. That's not a crime. It is when you invoice the movement, Eleanor said, and turned to Denise. He added a consulting fee under expedite services, paid out of a slush disguised as training. Victor's jaw worked once. He didn't blink. You approved those lines for years, he said. You like speed as long as you can sell it upstairs? The IT analyst's hands tightened around his laptop. I have a drive image, he said softly. If we're doing this, we do it right. Eleanor watched his fingers, calculating. She produced a slim flash drive from her coat pocket and offered it to Denise like a cigarette in a movie that understood symbols. A copy of the vendor contract, she said. Edits traced to our friend here at 02. Shirar. Her mouth made that almost smile that had wooed investors and frightened subordinates. Consider it my parting donation to institutional memory. The garage hummed like a low argument. A gust rolled through, carrying the wet metal smell of a morning that hadn't made up its mind. Why help us? Denise asked. Because the system I built loves a scapegoat more than a fix, Eleanor said. I refuse to be the first when I can be the last. Victor took a step toward her and then thought better. You going to pretend none of this started with you? He said. You've been drafting courage into contracts since the last war. We just learned your tricks. I absorbed the heat, Eleanor said, unoffended. You rerouted it. Difference. Denise slid the flash drive into her pocket. The key Ron had given her pressed its crescent against her palm, metal remembering skin. We'll verify, she said. Logs, not feelings, and if you're clean, you'll say so under lights you don't control. Eleanor's eyes cooled to a human blue. You're learning, she said. Be careful. Locks don't protect you from consequences. They just calendar them. The analyst cleared his throat. We need a quiet room and an air-gapped machine, he said. If this drive's tainted, we can't let it talk to our network. Training room, Denise said. Hinges oiled, lights ugly. They rode the freight elevator up steel walls. The cough of a motor kept alive by maintenance schedules and prayers. No one spoke. At 12, the air changed to coffee and carpet. Denise unlocked the training room door, the plaque catching a slab of morning, throwing it back level. Maria arrived already moving, pencil at that fighting angle. She took one look at the group, clocked the tension like weather, and wordlessly rolled the second monitor over. The analyst set the laptop to offline, inserted the drive with the reverence of a ritual. Windows bloomed. File names, timestamps, metadata, with the honesty of a ledger that didn't care about careers. Asterisk, asterisk. Author, V. Rinaldi. Modified, Lingar. Shiar, asterisk, asterisk. Comment history, wiped. Asterisk, asterisk, track changes, off. Asterisk, asterisk, network path. Local copy, external origin. Victor barked a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Anyone can write a name on a ghost, he said. Show me the badge pairing. The analyst clicked deeper. Device ID, IP sniff, badge ping from the board elevator. At 02, Lingba, console login from a workstation tied to ops at 02. Sure. A second login at 02. 11 from a remote session flagged by the SOC last month and ignored because it had resolved to internal. Maria's voice stayed level. 2 sessions, 1 body. Either a man ran very fast in 2 minutes or someone kept his door propped. Victor stared at the screen like it had insulted his mother. I was here at midnight, he said. I left at 1. Check the cameras. I took the south stairwell. Denise watched him. He had the look of a person who knows he is not entirely innocent and not entirely guilty, and is discovering which part matters. We'll check everything, she said. Cameras, badge logs, the ledger you hid under expedite. In. Eleanor leaned against the doorframe, hands empty. This is where you win or lose, she said, not gloating, almost kind. In small verbs that survive bad mornings. Out, Maria said, without looking at her. You don't get to narrate. Eleanor shrugged, uninsulted, and left. The door eased shut. Hinge appreciating oil. They split work the way a good kitchen does. The analyst pulled camera feeds, stacked thumbnails like card. Maria drafted a short memo. Asterisk, asterisk. Suspected credential cloning. Ghost session. Dual key policy remains intact. Asterisk. Asterisk. Denise opened the worm vault and nested a folder tree that even future chaos would have to respect. At 8, Shiwu, Kellerman stepped in, tie knotted correctly, and eyes taking everything in at once. He didn't sit. He looked at the screen, then at Victor, then at Denise. Is our house on fire or just smoking? He asked. Smoke, Maria said. We built a lock just in time. You'll get ashes on your shoes if you step wrong. The analyst added, surprising himself with metaphor. They rolled the tape. Ling E. Wushaba. Victor exiting ops. Jacket over his arm. Ling R. Ling C. A figure in an ops hoodie entering with a cap pulled low. Ling R. Ling Ba. Board elevator ping. Ling R. Sure. Workstation login. Ling R. Sure. Edit saved. Ling R. Sir C. Another ping service corridor. Camera blind spot. Ling R. Sir Luke. Log out. The hoodie never looked up enough to give face to the machine. Victor pointed at the timestamp of himself leaving. I went home, he said. Whoever did this knew I'd look guilty. Convenient. Maria said, not yet convinced, but not blind. Who else had your credentials? Denise asked. No one, he said. Too fast. Then, slower. I let a contractor mirror my screen last month. He said the vendor portal needed a plug-in. He was in the office 3 days. Said you approved him. Maria did not flinch, but her spine found a new degree of straight. Name, Gideon Carr, or Carr with a K. Tall, soft hands, smelled like good soap. The kind you buy when you want to seem harmless. The analyst's fingers flew. He registered a MAC address. He said, we flagged it transient. He was gone before we could schedule a sit-down. His eyes widened. He's attached to the vendor we just signed for nights. Denise felt the floor tilt a small shift, the kind that throws a long shadow. He used facilities as a backdoor. The room considered this. The kettles on the side table clicked. Empty. Denise poured water and watched it be nothing. We're not bleeding because of a comma, she said. We're bleeding because someone opened a vein with a mop. Kellerman straightened. Decision put frames around his words. Lock down external credentials. He said to the analyst, pool vendor access logs since last quarter. Maria, draft a notice quiet. Surgical. Victor lifted his hands. I'm not touching a keyboard until you clear me. Good. Kellerman said. Sit with Denise. Tell her everything you know about that contractor. Every room he walked into and why. They moved. Calls placed. Logs pulled. A list grew. Doors Gideon had passed. Systems he had assisted. People who had signed as a favor. The path traced a map no one had meant to draw. Service corridors, to ops to legal, to the board elevator, shortcut city. At 10, Lingar. The analyst found the hinge, a maintenance ticket labeled asterisk, asterisk, badge reader calibration. Asterisk, asterisk, had been closed at 18:34 3 weeks ago. The signature read asterisk, asterisk, G. Car asterisk asterisk. Attached was a photo of a screwdriver posed like proof. The calibration had improved sensitivity. To what? The ticket did not say. Denise closed her eyes and saw the yellow sign in the lobby, adjusted by a finger's width until perfect. That same precision had been used to open a door from the wrong side. "We'll need facilities," she said. She and Victor rode the elevator down together. A silence between them that wasn't friendly or hostile, just busy. The service corridor smelled like coffee that had given up and bleach that never would. Tasha waved from the desk with a look that understood nothing and everything. "You need Ron," she said, and jerked her head toward the stairwell. They found him on the landing between sub-basement and the world, a toolbox open like a mouth. Mid-argument. He didn't look up right away. "This building's taught me more about patience than any preacher," he said. And then he did look up. "You look like a leak. We need a lock," Denise said. "And a map of doors most people don't know exist." He closed the toolbox. "Stood. You get minutes?" he asked. "We live on them," she said. He nodded. "That small ceremony men like him allow themselves. Then let's go see the hinge that squeaks," he said. They moved through the sub-level corridors where pipes spoke, and the air ran cooler than accounting would prefer. Ron pointed out panels he had loved, and panels he had tolerated, the ones that bit, the ones that blessed. At a junction marked with a number that meant nothing unless you had learned to decode the building's private language, he stopped. "This reader," he said, tapping a black square with a bored red LED. "It's been too friendly." He popped the faceplate. Inside, wires nested like thin snakes. A second board piggybacked on the first, small enough to hide, slick enough to sell as an upgrade. The analyst panting. He'd run to catch up, took one look, and whistled. "Skimmer," he said. "Copies badge IDs. Spoofs pings." Victor leaned on the opposite wall, head low, hands on hips. "He made me a ghost." "No," Denise said. "He made himself invisible and dressed you in the sheet." The analyst photographed, bagged, labeled "The Quiet Liturgy of Chain of Custody." Maria met them halfway back to the elevator with forms already printed. "We do this by the book," she said. "Not because the book is holy, because it survives bad faith." They filed in sequence. Find, document, remove, notify. The building exhaled by degrees. The way a patient relaxes when a splinter finally leaves. Back on 12. The news crawled less like panic and more like process. It patched readers. Vendor access froze until nice. Signed hours showed up with real names. Ops monitored. Legal wrote. The company moved like a body that had stubbed its toe and decided not to scream. Denise stood in her doorway as the afternoon thinned. The plant on the sill had turned another fraction. The plaque held. The chair she had nudged back into line stayed obedient. Her drawer held the thin key, and the night badge, and the note that said asterisk, asterisk. "We see you asterisk, asterisk" in block letters that still felt like a hand on the back. Her phone buzzed. A new message. Same ghost sender. "If you're smart, you'll drop it. Heroes are expensive. Asterisk, asterisk." She stared at it until the letters separated from meaning and became shapes. She took a screenshot, sent it to the analyst with asterisk, asterisk, log, plus, block, asterisk, asterisk, then deleted the thread with a precision that felt like mercy. Evening brushed the windows with the flat gray of weather, reconsidering. Denise packed her bag. As she turned off the light in the training room, the plaque caught a final strip of day and returned it intact. In the lobby, the revolving doors breathed, righteous and regular. She reached into her pocket and closed her hand around the thin key. It pressed its crescent into her palm, a small moon she chose to carry. The elevator chimed behind her. She didn't turn. She stepped into winter. Cliffhanger. Asterisk, asterisk. The phone buzzed once more. Not anonymous this time. Asterisk, asterisk security. We found a second device on the vault mezzanine, unlabeled, recording, asterisk, asterisk, and below it, a time, Lingwu, 30 a.m., asterisk, asterisk. A place that wasn't on any public map, a door only keys remembered. Security's email sat on Denise's screen like a dropped wrench. Asterisk, asterisk, second device found. Volt mezzanine, unlabeled, recording. Lingwu, 30 a.m. Asterisk, asterisk. The time was a bruise. The place wasn't on any public map. She read it twice, then once again, as if the letters might lie less on a second pass. The building had settled into its late shift breathing vents, murmuring, printers ticking in their sleep, elevator cables purring through concrete ribs. Denise stood, felt for the thin key in her coat pocket, and let it press a crescent into her palm. Metal remembers, hands do too. She pinged the IT analyst. Asterisk, asterisk, chain of custody kit, air-gapped laptop, gloves, meds level in 10. Then Maria, asterisk, asterisk, bring forms, no sermons. Then Ron, asterisk, asterisk. You know that door under the building's tongue, the one the maps forgot. Meet me there. The freight elevator took its time. It always did. Patience was built into its gears. The ride down smelled like cold steel and elevator grease, a clean, saltless tang. At sub 1 the doors slid open on concrete and humming pipes. The mezzanine steps half-flight, half-rumor led to a landing with walls that sweated in winter. Fluorescents flickered once, then settled into their thin, insect sound. The IT analyst was already there, backpack open, gloves, and tamper-evident bags lined like a picnic for people who love rules. He looked younger under basement light. Cameras dead, he said, but someone taped a black eye over a black face. He pointed to a puck, the size of a coaster glued above the doorframe, flush with shadow. No label, no serial. Maria arrived in motion, pencil behind her ear at a combative angle. Her breath fogged and broke apart. We will not be the ones who smudge this, she said. She snapped a photo with a timestamp overlay, then another with a quarter held for scale. The analyst bagged the puck, squeezed the seal until it clicked. He wrote the time down block digits that would look good in front of a judge. He signed, Maria signed, Denise signed. Small liturgy, big consequences. Ron came last, coat open, palms clean. He stood with them and didn't speak for a half-minute. The way men like him wait for a room to tell them what it is. Somebody wanted to see who walked this air, he said finally, or who opened the door. Denise said. He looked at the door, a plain thing, paint nicked where carts had kissed it. He touched the hinge, felt for play, frowned. This one's been opened more than usual, he said. Hing his gossip. Listen. He eased it a fraction. The sound wasn't squeak. It was a dry whisper, the kind of rub metal makes before it complains. Oil later, Denise said. Evidence first. The analyst placed a printed asterisk asterisk do not use asterisk asterisk sticker over the handle and photographed the sticker because chain of custody loves redundancy. They followed the landing around a bend. The mezzanine was narrow and long, a shelf of hallway perched between the loading dock's concrete and the building's root systems. Coils of cable slept in loops. Conduits ran like veins. Somewhere below a compressor thumped, slow and steady. A mechanical heart with its own duty roster. The second device blinked from behind a pipe no bigger than a matchbox, the kind of slick, cheap thing you can buy online if you lie to yourself about why. The analyst found its magnet with an index finger, slid it off, killed the switch. Bagged and labeled, he traced the wireless frequency with a handheld sniffer. It was pushing to a local collector, he said. Not the network, something nearby. Nearby where? Maria asked. He turned, watched the sniffer's bar grow bolder toward the far wall. Brick gave way to drywall that had been patched and painted to match nobody's memory. A false panel sat there in plain sight. Ron bent, pushed his thumbnail into the seam, and it gave, behind the panel. A small cavity hollow as an apology held a battery pack, an SD card in a plastic shell, and a coil of wire cut clean. The analyst bagged with the reverence of a locksmith at baptism. He looked simultaneously pleased and scared. Whoever put this in here knew the janitor's schedule, he said. Nights, Kiet. No one to ask why a man's shoulders fill a door. Ron's mouth ticked at the corner. Some of us ask, he said. They climbed back to the landing where the asterisk, do not use. Asterisk, sticker glared like a firm handshake. Denise leaned against the cool concrete and let the chill climb her spine to wake her all the way up. She thought of the anonymous email, whispering times. Heroes are expensive. Asterisk. The building smelled like wet metal and a cold morning under an old bridge. What do you do with the truth when it's wired like this? She asked. Not rhetorical. Maria blew on her hands. Didn't answer first. The analyst did. You don't carry it in your pocket, he said, and held up the sealed bag. You let the vault carry it, then you bring people to look, under lights that don't flatter. He glanced at Denise, as if seeking permission to be brave in public. We can air gap a machine upstairs, go through this where cameras are ours and doors open on our side. Training room. Denise said. Hing is good. Blake behaves. She touched her coat pocket to feel the thin key. It was as if the metal answered. Asterisk. Here asterisk. They took the freight elevator up, and the building traded concrete breath for carpet and coffee ghosts. 12 wore morning's first attempt at honesty. Denise unlocked the asterisk, Atwater room, asterisk. The letters took a slice of light and held it level. The trio laid out their ritual gloves, bags, time cards on the table where Mint usually lives. The analyst set a laptop to offline, taped over its ports as if temptation were a virus. He slotted the SD card and booted a read-only view. A list of files blinked awake. Folder names like Little Lies, Janitorial, Safety, asterisk supply, Room asterisk doc, Cam asterisk and timestamps, like a heart monitor. He clicked one, video stroked into life, grainy, static, but true. Date stamped the bottom right. A night shift corridor. Ron's back, shoulders, carrying dignity. A man in a vendor polo, cap low, posture too careful. He moved with a confidence born of studying, not belonging. He held a toolbox. He didn't wait right. Gideon, Victor said from the doorway. He'd arrived quietly, hands in pockets, eyes shadowed. He used to roll his shoulders before he lied. Nobody asked how Victor knew. Denise pointed. Freeze. The analyst froze the frame. Denise leaned close. The vendor badge clipped on Gideon's pocket had been printed with a font one size off. Not internal issue, she said. He printed his own mask. Maria wrote a number on the board asterisk 02, 12 asterisk and circled it. We tie these, she said. Badge pings. Ghost session. Reader piggyback. This device, she tapped the bag with a fingernail. Then we write one page with a verb in every sentence. We won't win with adjectives. They moved through the footage, hallways like veins, doors that gave to certain shoulders. Twice the device's microphone caught a voice. The first time, a low hum of a man murmuring to himself, syllables without meaning. The second, a clear, crisp tone, a woman's, closer to the puck. "You're early," it said, amused, a little bored. Eleanor's voice. The room grew colder. Even the plant on the sill seemed to pause. "When?" Maria asked. The analyst rewound. "Check the timestamp **05, 31 a.m. Last Tuesday, she was here," he said, "or close enough to be recorded." Kellerman stepped into the doorway. He had moved through the morning already and wore what it had cost. He took in the video, the bags, the calm disorder of crisis, done correctly. "What have we got?" he asked. "Proof of a back door," Maria said, "and a person who walked through it." Kellerman watched Eleanor's voice move through the speakers like a draft. He put a hand on the back of a chair that wasn't his and gripped. In the corner of the room, the plaque shone and kept its mouth shut. "Chain of custody hold," he asked. "Signed," the analyst said, tapping the forms. "Worm in an hour, after we finish indexing." "Good," he said. He looked at Denise. "And you?" "I'll be at the mezzanine at 5:30 tomorrow," she said. Maria's head snapped. "Are we inviting ambush now?" "No," Denise said. "We're RSVPing to it." She nodded at the screen. "She thinks the building is a stage. We make it a record. We stand where the camera is, not where the lights are." Kellerman studied her, then nodded once. "Take security," he said. "2 badge cams. 1 witness who writes good minutes." He glanced at Maria. "That's you. Bring Ron." The analyst murmured, "He knows where the floor gives." "Ron's shift ends at noon today," Denise said. "They want his ring. He'll come anyway." The room exhaled. They ran the footage again. Slower. On one clip, Gideon switched a panel out of frame, then reached up with the same careful hands to press the covert puck. It clicked home with a gentle magnetized acceptance. He wiped the top edge with a cloth. Neat. Practiced. Men like him tidy up even their crime. They built a schedule on the whiteboard the way you lay out a patient's treatment. Ling Si. 50 mate security. Ling Wu. 10 set position. Ling Wu. 30 recording live. Ling Wu. 33 approach. Ling Wu. 40 collect. Lin Lu. 00 worm. Asterisk. Asterisk. Denise added a single word at the bottom. Asterisk asterisk T. Asterisk. Asterisk. She drew a box next to it and checked it because she needed to check times, something times, she could keep. When they dispersed, the building had decided to be a morning again. Mail carts rolled. Shoes found their confidence. Denise watched through the glass as a receptionist straightened a stack of visitor badges, so the corners made a neat fat square. Small order. Big day. She went down to the service level. The key locker door stood open, the slots like missing teeth. Ron closed the cabinet with a flat palm. The ring in his hand looked heavier than yesterday. "They want it at noon," he said. "You give it to me first," she said. He hesitated, then set the ring in her palm. It filled her hand. Cold, loud with memory. She chose the thin key he'd slid back to her days ago and held it up between them. "We'll pay attention for both of us," she said. "If a thing matters," he said, "write it where your future self will find it." "I will." He took the ring back and looped it onto his belt, like an old friend hooking arms one last time. "I'll meet you before dawn," he said. Basements like an extra pair of eyes. They shook, no squeeze, just pressure. Middle of the hand, he left with his unhurried walk, pride worn like a jacket that fits better each year. Evening came without ceremony. Denise packed slowly, locked the drawer where the night badge lay under a stack of one-page truths, and cut the training room lights. The plaque flashed once at the door swing. The hinge responded with a pleased little sigh. Outside, winter chose crisp over cruel. She went home, set 2 alarms, and moved on autopilot, teabag in a mug, shoes by the door, coat on its peg. She tried to sleep and rehearsed instead. The walk, the angle, the word she would choose when someone said something that sounded true but wasn't. At 4:42 a.m., the first alarm didn't earn its keep. She was already up, tying her scarf without a mirror, reading the email from security one more time. Asterisk, asterisk, badge cams ready. 2 officers. Mezzanine sealed at 05. Shawoo. She stepped into the hallway, the building of her small apartment breathing like honest wood. Outside, the pre-dawn had that deep blue film city lights can't quite erase. The air smelled like metal choosing to be clean. At 5, Ling Ba, she met security by the freight elevator. 2 officers nodded, no swagger, just competence. They clipped badge cams onto lapels, turned on a low humming device that jammed casual signals, and handed Maria a clipboard she'd love. Ron joined, gloves in pocket, face steady. The elevator descended. The numbers blinked like soft pulses. The doors opened on the mezzanine's light thin, buzzing. Fair. Denise touched the thin key in her pocket. Then the asterisk. Asterisk. Do not use asterisk. Asterisk sticker on the door. She felt the way the room seemed to lean in, the way buildings sometimes do when they're about to remember for you. Positions, she said. They took them, cliffhanger. Asterisk, asterisk, at 05. Arsha. Footsteps approached, the cadence of someone who didn't need to earn permission, a woman's silhouette cut into the fluorescent wash, heels precise, voice already warming a line. You're early, she said to the door, and the badge cams blinked red alive. The mezzanine held its breath. Pipes hummed their low monastery note. Badge cams blinked dull. Tiny embers against concrete. Denise stood where the camera's cone met the door's edge, shoulder angled, palms loose. Maria waited half a pace back, pencil in hand, as if minutes might need to be written on air. The 2 security officers took the flanks, not blocking, just present. Ron leaned on the rail with a mechanic's patience. Gloves tucked in his belt, eyes on the hinge. Heels entered, first measured, unhurried, then the rest of Eleanor. Cast in fluorescent honesty. No entourage, no folder, just blue wool that carried its own weather. She moved to the handle, saw the asterisk. Asterisk. Do not use. Asterisk. Asterisk. Sticker, and let a small smile adjust the corners of her mouth. You're early, she said, as if speaking to a mirror that had learned a new trick. On the minute, Denise answered. The building likes punctual. Eleanor's gaze flicked to the cameras, took them in, accepted them like a clause she'd failed to strike. You found the toy, she said. We found 2, Maria said, and the pocket they slept in. Then you know what they say. Eleanor replied, your mezzanine sees more than your boardroom. Boardrooms talk louder. Ron muttered, not looking up. Eleanor's eyes warmed a degree toward amusement. She stepped to the side, out of the hinge's arc, and rested a palm on the cold wall like she owned a share in concrete. Let's trade time for candor, she said. You think I'm the wolf. I think I've been shepherding sheep through a blizzard. We can both be right until the headline hits. Denise felt the thin key in her pocket, find her palm like a thought. 2 statements, she said. 1. Unauthorized edits to live artifacts happened under your initials. 2. Surveillance devices were placed on company property and pointed at secured egress. Explain either in verbs. Verb 1, Eleanor said, align. Governance aligns language before it ossifies into expensive mistakes. Verb 2, observe. Executives observe their house when they don't trust the smoke alarms. Governance reads, Maria returned. Authoring signs. Smoke alarms get tested by facilities. Nut Boutique Electronics. The nearer security officer, older, careful, held up the sealed bag with the puck inside. Chain of custody, intact, he said for the audio, not for Eleanor. Recovered 05, 3 secs. At Voltmez, bagged 05, Sancha Joe, witnessed by all of us. Eleanor looked at the bag the way one looks at a photograph of themselves from a bad decade, acknowledging, unsentimental. If you believe optics kill quicker than fraud, she said, you'd be right. Investors don't read footnotes. They read tone. Then let's show them tone that survives court, Maria said. Eleanor's weight shifted. She turned slightly, letting the blue suit catch the buzzed light at a flattering angle. A reflex that had probably been her first defense in rooms built the year Denise started sweeping floors. Do you know what happens when this goes wide? She asked. Supply chain wobbles. Lines look crooked. People with small lives pay the bill. People with small lives already pay the bill, Ron said, softly. He pushed off the rail. We keep the hallways straight so your lines can wobble. Silence drew itself tight, then relaxed. Denise stepped a half-pace closer to the seam of the door. The sticker's adhesive made a faint, tacky sound in the humid air. Who is Gideon Carr? She asked. Eleanor's laugh was almost a cough. A contractor with good soap, she said, and her eyes did not flicker. He calibrates. He leaves. He has a gift for being hired by teams that prefer speed to pedigree. Which team hired him here? Denise asked. Eleanor chose to ignore the easiest answer. He's a symptom, she said. You're busy diagnosing me. Symptoms point to systems. Maria said, so do initials. We're not diagnosing. We're documenting. You'll find the device piggyback in a reader near the South Junction. Denise added, watching for tells and seeing none. You'll also find a maintenance ticket closed by a name that rhymes with convenience. We pulled the panel. It was friendly to strangers. He made me a ghost. Came a voice from the stairwell. Victor. He didn't belong in this hallway and came anyway. Shoulders squared into the choice. The officer half turned, checked his badge. Let him be. Victor stopped short of the camera's bottom arc and raised both hands where audio could hear the lack of threat. I left at 1, he said to the lens as if it were a magistrate. I came back at 2. No. Check the clip. The hoodie wasn't me. Eleanor watched him with a discouraging tenderness. You always wanted to be indispensable, she said. You forgot indispensable men are very easy to replace. Heat flicked through Victor's face, then receded. You edited guarantee into a final, he said. You thought we'd eat it because you put it on a slide. I attempted to, she said. The precision of a person who knows transcript is a weapon. Your badge let me into the room. The officer lifted the bag again for the record. And this badge let us all in here, he said, so the room could look back. Eleanor took one measured breath. It's cold in this hallway, she said. People say things when it's cold they wouldn't say under carpet. She looked at Denise again, and for the first time, her voice lost its curated temper. Not louder, just human. I know your type, she said. You believe in pure verbs. You believe in locks that keep monsters out and let merit in. But buildings like this were poured with closets. Then we air them. Denise said. And if the roof caves, Eleanor asked, then we rebuild without closets. Maria's pencil stopped moving. She'd written nothing for the last 30 seconds because some lines don't need transcription to survive. We're done talking, she said. You can come upstairs and watch us file. Or you can call counsel and deny. Or you can walk away and try to break a door on another floor. But you won't touch this one. Eleanor looked at the asterisk. Asterisk, do not use. Asterisk, asterisk sticker. For a flicker, she seemed tempted to peel it with a manicured thumbnail and test fate. Instead, she smoothed her jacket, placed both hands flat on the cold paint, like she was communing with the building, and stepped back. You'll need more than locks, she said. You'll need witnesses with stamina. Rooms full of them, Ron said. More chairs inside. The phrase landed like a prayer. Said in a dialect. Everyone suddenly knew, the officer's radio murmured. The analyst's text pinged on Denise's phone. Asterisk, asterisk. Worm ready. Index. Complete. Bring devices. Asterisk, asterisk. Denise nodded once toward the elevator. Upstairs, she said. They moved in a tight, quiet procession, Eleanor bracketed but not touched. Victor behind, silent, and 2 steps off. Ron carrying the bag like a newborn he'd never asked for. Maria out front because minutes walk first. The freight elevator took them toward carpet and consequence. The ride held that odd intimacy elevators force strangers too close. Air too thin, the hum of machinery louder than any throat. On 12, the asterisk, asterisk, Atwater. Room, asterisk, asterisk, met them with its patient metal. The analyst had the air-gapped machine awake, ports taped, light flat. He announced time and case number like a pilot checking altitudes. Maria laid the forms out in a geometry of calm. The officers clipped their cams to the table edge, so their angle included hands, bags, faces. Denise set the devices down. We'll start, she said, by naming what each thing is. She touched the puck, surveillance tool, mezzanine camera, found here. At this time, by these people, she touched the matchbox recorder, magnetized mic, hidden behind pipe. She touched the SD card, storage, contents previously previewed in read-only view, chain intact. Eleanor watched with the expression of a CEO visiting a factory line after a recall. She understood process. She also understood how process becomes story. Victor stared at the whiteboard where Maria had written asterisk asterisk 05. 31 voice captured asterisk asterisk, and beneath it asterisk asterisk you're early. Asterisk asterisk in quotes. He swallowed once, loud enough to be a beat. The analyst slotted the SD card into the reader again, this time with the badge cams rolling on either side. He brought up the folder, opened the clip where the voice lived. The audio filled the room, fluorescent hum. A heel click, then Eleanor's words, crisp and relaxed, full of ownership she couldn't reclaim. You're early. No one reacted big. In this building, large reactions are for fire drills and bonuses, but small things changed posture, breath, the angle of a pen. Kellerman arrived at the edge of the moment, saw the table, the bags, the way silence had set like mortar. He looked at Eleanor, then at Denise. This is now a board matter, he said, and a police matter. We'll do both by the book. Eleanor's lips parted, then closed. She lifted her chin, not as defense, as composure. You built a wall, she said to Denise. Congratulations. You'll spend the rest of your time guarding it. Denise shook her head. I'll spend it teaching people to build their own. Something passed over Eleanor's face, then the shadow of a younger woman who'd learned a different lesson and survived on it. It didn't stay. She nodded once, almost like respect, and said, Then we'll see whose curriculum wins. She turned to Kellerman. You'll hear from council. You'll hear from ours, he said. Security escorted her out, not hands, just presence. Victor didn't move. He stared at the table as if guilt might sort itself into neat containers if he looked hard enough. I didn't, he started, and stopped. I wanted to be useful. Then be useful now, Maria said. Not unkind. Names, rooms, times. He sat. He talked. He gave them Gideon's path through the building, the doors where friendliness happened. The moment's speed was bought with someone else's cost. He flinched when he admitted he'd let the contractor mirror his screen. He didn't make excuses. That was new. When it was done, the analyst sealed the bags for the vault. The green progress bar blessed the upload. Like a tiny, stubborn faith, Ron stood in the doorway, thumb running the ridge of a key he hadn't turned yet. Denise looked at the clock. Shirye, Sishaba. At noon, Ron would hand over his ring. The building would learn new hands. Break at 11:55, she said. More to the room than the people. We reconvene at 1 with legal. She touched the plaque as she passed. Metal cool. Level. She walked Ron down to facilities, her steps echoing beside his in a rhythm she would remember by heart later. He put the ring on the counter with a sound that belonged to a church that remembers its bells. The vendor manager, a man with a smile like a brochure, lifted it, weighed it with the wrong muscles, and wrote a signature that meant less than he believed. Ron kept the thin spare in his palm. He didn't give that one up. Not yet. Lunch, he asked. Tea, she said. They sat on the mezzanine steps with paper cups and mint breathing warmth into cold. For a while they didn't speak. The building hummed like a creature that had eaten a hard truth and was learning to swallow. More chairs inside, Ron said. Always. Denise answered. Cliffhanger. Her phone buzzed. A new message, not anonymous. Asterisk, asterisk. External counsel retained by board member E.C. demands preservation hold. Also, investor call at 4, asterisk, asterisk. And below it, from security, asterisk, asterisk. There's one more door on the vault mezz, unlabeled, not in drawings. Bring your key. The preservation hold email read like a fire blanket, thick, smothering, non-negotiable, asterisk, asterisk. Retain all communications and artifacts relevant to surveillance devices, unauthorized edits, vendor onboarding, do not destroy, modify, or move, asterisk, asterisk. It bore 3 law firm logos and the careful punctuation of people who charge for commas. Below it, securities note, asterisk, asterisk. One more door on vault mezz, unlabeled, not in drawings. Bring your key. Denise held the phone until its heat left her palm. The service corridor smelled of coffee gone bitter and disinfectant that never got tired. Ron crumpled his paper teacup and tucked it into his coat like evidence he didn't trust a trash can with. Unlabeled doors are loud, he said. Then we go listen. Denise answered. They took the freight elevator down. The cage rattled in a familiar rhythm, a lullaby for people who believe in maintenance. Sub 1 opened to the same thin fluorescent, the same concrete sweating in winter. Security waited with their practiced quiet 2 officers, 1 clipboard, a portable lamp that turned truth bright. The mezzanine made its narrow U, pipes breathe, the asterisk asterisk do not use, asterisk asterisk sticker on the first door remained unpeeled. Stubborn as a principle, 20 paces past it, where brick surrendered to a section of drywall. Nobody loved security's lamp found a seam. It was almost nothing. A hairline shadow, where a painter had been good but not gifted. Ron ran his knuckles along it. The wall answered with a different density. Someone closed a closet with a story, he said. The older officer produced a stud sensor and ran it slow. It beeped, sulked, then went quiet over a rectangle the size of a small refrigerator. The younger officer pressed a finger into the corner and felt give novisible latch, he said. No lock to pick. Denise reached into her coat and found the thin key by feel. She didn't know why a janitor's sliver of metal might matter to a door with no keyhole, but the gesture steadied her. She pressed her palm to the drywall and felt a draft where there shouldn't be one, the whisper of air choosing a new path. Panel first, she said. No brute. They worked by custody and patience. Maria arrived in a rustle of paper and purpose, pencil at that warring angle, breath fogging once, and then deciding it had other work. Preservation hold says don't move, she said. It also says secure, Denise replied. Will open without disturbing what tells a judge why. Ron Knelt pulled a painter's multi-tool from his pocket 5, lives in one piece of metal, and slipped its flat blade beneath the baseboard. He lifted, gentle as prayer. The board popped free with a soft sigh. Beneath it, a finger-width groove ran the length of the false panel. He slid the tool in, pried up, and a latch gave with a defeated click. The panel pivoted on hidden pins. Cold air exhaled from the gap. Inside, a cavity lined in cheap, felt to pretend care. A safe sat back a few inches. Mat gray, keypad slick from decades of fingers. Above it, a shelf held a black plastic binder and a slim laptop. Lid closed, charger plugged into an outlet. Someone had loved enough to install properly. The officers stepped back so the badge cams could see the breadth of the room. The older one read the time aloud. The younger bagged the binder first, then the laptop cord, labeling each like a litany. Maria wrote names on forms and had them initialed security, facilities, legal. Denise, Ron, handwriting, marching in the same direction. Ron tapped the safe's keypad with his knuckle. Not keine touch. They don't put these in places that make the cleaning schedule, he said. They put them where air smells like money. Can we open it? Without disrespecting the hold, Maria asked. Not today, the officer said. We log it. We call a warrant if counsel agrees. We station a human. Cameras watch. Nobody breathes in here unsupervised. Denise nodded. That small concession to the rules that keep chaos from staging a comeback. She lifted the binder, gloved, and felt weight that wasn't paper alone. Inside, tabbed sections, labeled with euphemisms, asterisk, asterisk, partnership, facilitation, asterisk, 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 cultural training, asterisk, 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 executive hospitality, asterisk, asterisk, a lexicon of how to make a bribe choose better clothes, tucked between plastic sleeves, certified mail receipts. At the back, a thin ledger in neat hand, old ink in confident strokes, amounts, companies. Initials that didn't hide behind middle names. E. C. appeared more than once. Ron whistled low, the sound a mechanic makes when a seized bolt finally shows its thread. Ledger told the truth before computers learned, he said. Maria looked at the camera and said, for the record, we have a manual ledger of disbursements plausibly disguising improper payments. Entries initialed. Will inventory entries and secure to worm. We will not speculate on intent. She let the last clause hang because her eyes were full of intent. Security sealed the binder, bagged the laptop, taped the panel shut, with tamper seals that crack like eggshells. The older officer clicked a portable, motion-triggered camera above the seam. "Door is a witness now," he said. They rode up in silence, past the smell of rubber and dust, to carpet and glass. 12 had warmed to actual day. The Atwater room took them in. Plaque patient. Table cleared for instruments. The air-gapped laptop came awake like a polite animal. The binder lay centered, flanked by gloves and pens, and the small, cold authority of process. They catalogued. They didn't skip. Maria read names. Denise read amounts. The analyst typed case numbers into fields he'd labeled with clean, modest nuns. Recipient, vehicle, date, initials, asterisk. Sometimes their voices overlapped, and the room carried both without complaint. A line stopped Denise's mouth. 117 visitor transit consult, $85. 000E. C. V. R. She didn't say the names. She didn't need to. Maria's pencil paused, hovered, then wrote them anyway because minutes without details are gossip. Kellerman entered without knock, eyes already tired from the future. He looked at the binder, at the small mountain of bagged devices, and at the screen, with an index deep enough to matter. "Preservation hold is in," he said. "Investor call at 4. If we can't speak in sentences that make markets breathe, we will have a problem that outlives this building. You'll speak to process." Maria said. "Independent review retained. Board oversight narrowed. Device discovered. Secured. Logged. Worm in place. No funds moved without 2 signatures. Facts first. Adjectives, never, and the safe," he asked, nodding toward the mezzanine in his mind. "Logged. Sealed. We'll unbutton with counsel," the older officer said. Kellerman's gaze drifted to the ledger's open page. "We'll need to separate company and person," he said, like a man dictating instructions to his own spine. The wall phone on the far side of the room rang a landline sound that felt like a period in a to-do list of dings. The analyst flinched. "Nobody uses wall phones until old rules come back with teeth." Denise crossed and grabbed it. "This is Atwater," she said, a voice that tried to be friendly. "Board liaison. The one whose emails used the word candor as currency. Jonathan needs a small win for 4 p.m., he said. "Something clean he can say we did before lunch that a fund manager understands. Find me one line that sounds like safety." Denise looked at the board where Maria had written futures in present tense. She chose a sentence you could eat without choking. Asterisk. External credentials frozen. Vendor devices removed and secured. Dual signature enforcement audited. Asterisk. She paused, and we renamed the training room and filled it. He chuckled, the light kind that knows when to stop. "I'll take the first 3, he said. She hung up and felt the room lean a degree less. Noon came like a train that can't be negotiated with. Ron stood at the facilities counter and set down the ring. It hit laminate with a clean, heavy punctuation. The vendor manager smiled, a customer service smile, and signed line 3, as if history often fits between 2 ruled lines. Ron slid his ID across the desk, 2 plastic dulled, numbers ghosted by time. He kept the thin key warm in his palm and didn't announce it. They walked the long hall back to the elevator. "You all right?" Denise asked. "I'm not empty," he said. "I'm reissued." Back upstairs, they ate sandwiches you forget after you finish them. At 3, whoosher, the investor call's secure link opened and the conference room became a stage with an audience of shapes, initials that meant money, thumbnails that meant consequences. Kellerman spoke in sentences that chose bone over flesh. We discovered unauthorized devices in a non-public area. We removed and preserved them. We have engaged independent counsel. We have narrowed permissions and enforced a two-signature policy on all risk-bearing artifacts. We are cooperating with authorities. He said asterisk, asterisk, we asterisk, asterisk, so often that blame had nowhere to stick and accountability had somewhere to live. Question came, clipped and expensive. Asterisk, asterisk exposure, asterisk, asterisk, low and contained, asterisk, asterisk, continuity, asterisk, asterisk, unaffected, asterisk, asterisk. People, we respect due process, he said, and the way he said times respect, times bought him 30 seconds of silence from a fund with a hawk in its logo. Denise watched nothing and everything. The way Maria's pencil moved when a lawyer used the word times, mitigate asterisk. The way the analyst's jaw clenched when someone asked about optics instead of ethics. The way Ron stood in the hallway beyond the glass, hands in his pockets, listening without eavesdropping because the building was still his. The call ended with no applause, which in that world means relief. Kellerman leaned on the table with both hands and exhaled a life he'd been holding since morning. Thank you, he said to the room, not a habit. This gratitude. Security's message arrived as if cued by breath. Asterisk, asterisk, counsel, cleared opening of mezzanine, safe, in presence of third-party auditor, Shitsi, Shiwu, asterisk, asterisk. A time that didn't allow for fear to get organized. They went down together. Denise, Maria, the analyst, Kellerman, the two officers, an external auditor with a face like granite and a briefcase like a rulebook. The mezzanine air met them cold and faithful. The panel seals broke with recorded cracks. The safe waited. Keypad dumb. Metal honest. Default sequence sometimes survives the people who think they're clever, the older officer said, and tapped 4 numbers that live in far too many manuals. The safe didn't flinch. The auditor produced a locksmith kit, official and humorless. He placed a stethoscope to steel and listened like a doctor who bills in quarter hours. The wheel turned under his fingers. Tiny clicks stacked into a code. 10 minutes and a signature later, the door opened on old air. Inside, labeled envelopes. A folder marked asterisk, asterisk, hospitality, asterisk, asterisk, in an older font. An external drive with a label. Printer's neat strip asterisk, asterisk, T, reigning archive. Asterisk, asterisk, and a stack of cashier's checks in denominations that prefer sunlight. At the bottom, a small velvet box, the kind that lies even before you open it. The auditor lifted the drive with 2 fingers and dropped it into a bag. The officer catalogued the checks. Maria read names until one made the room colder. Asterisk, asterisk, Carr, Gideon, asterisk, asterisk. She held the check by its corners. Hospitality, consulting, twice. The auditor turned the velvet box over in his palm, then opened it. Inside, a lapel pin, a tiny enamel wolf's head, in company blue, a gift, a joke, a confession. Nobody laughed. They sealed the safe again, and the panel and their faces back on 12, the asterisk, asterisk, Atwater room. Asterisk, asterisk received a new procession of bags and forms and signatures. The external drive met the air-gapped machine with all the romance of a subpoena. Directories appeared. Asterisk, asterisk. Cultural training. Asterisk, asterisk. Vendor integration. Asterisk, asterisk. Fast track. Asterisk, asterisk. Inside them, spreadsheets that graded human beings as risks to be managed and vendors as veins to be tapped. Keep reading, Maria said, voice small and sharp at once. The last folder held a document that didn't pretend. Asterisk, asterisk. Board brief, 90-day aggressive plan. Asterisk, asterisk, bullet points. House language under courage. Install observation. Use after-hours path. If blocked, escalate. Guarante, asterisk, asterisk. Initials at the bottom. E. C. Kellerman sat very still. He looked like a man learning something late that explains too much. He stood carefully, as if sudden movements could spill the room. We move this to council, he said. We suspend E. C. pending investigation. We notify the full board with tapes, not rumors. He looked at Denise. Will you stand with me when we do it? She nodded. Rooms require witnesses, she said, and more chairs. Evening lowered itself over glass. The plant on the sill turned its patient degree. The plaque kept its modest shine. Denise opened her drawer and touched the thin key like a rosary medal warm from being chosen. She closed the drawer. She closed her eyes. She opened both. Her phone buzzed. A number she recognized now without needing to. Asterisk. Asterisk. You think locks save you. They only delay the bill. Asterisk, asterisk. No signature. She typed 4 words and hit send. Asterisk, asterisk. Minutes are the receipt. Security's last note of the day landed soft but heavy. Asterisk, asterisk board session. 8 a.m. Council present. And beneath it, a postscript from the older officer. Sleep if you can. The building will keep watch. Denise shut off the training room lights. The hinge answered with a satisfied breath. In the hall, she paused at the mezzanine rail and looked down at the lobby. A cleaner placed the yellow sign at the right angle, stepped back, nudged it a finger's width, said it again. Small order against large chaos. A life. She slipped the thin key into her inner pocket. Cold metal. Warm hand. A promise between them. Morning would be a knife. The room was ready. The boardroom ran cold by design glass. Chrome. An air system that made men in wool feel smart. Outside, Fort Worth carried a pale morning across the windows. Inside, microphones waited. Red rings dark, like mouths not yet fed. Counsel took the head with a neat stack of binders and a steel pen. The external auditor sat to his right, granite face and briefcase square on the table. Security posted near the door with that practiced, invisible posture. Maria arranged paper, pencils, forms, the small furniture of discipline. Kellerman stood. T. Correct. Voice warmed and waiting. Denise took the seat near the screen where evidence behaves. Eleanor entered last. Suit blue enough to argue with the glass. She placed her folder with reverent care, then straightened a placard that didn't need straightening. She glanced at Denise and gave that tiny nod women exchange in rooms that once barred both of them. Counsel clicked his pen. We're here to consider fact, he said. Devices were recovered in a non-public area. Artifacts sized. Logs captured. A safe opened under supervision. We will view a brief selection. The lights settled toward gray. The screen woke. Grainy video breathed life. A hallway. A cap. A vendor polo. The little magnetized puck kissing paint above a door. The timestamps marched like soldiers with good posture. Then the audio. Fluorescent hum. Heel click. Eleanor's voice clear. Relaxed. Not staged. Asterisk. Asterisk. You're early. No one turned to look at her. That was the cruelty of tape. It removes the performance from the performer. Maria's pencil paused without breaking. Denise watched the way. Breathing changed around the table. The micro shifts of neck tendons, fabric creaks, the faint rub of a ring against wood. Counsel moved to the ledger photos. The old, neat hand, the black plastic binder tabs that thought euphemism was grace. Asterisk, asterisk. Visitor Transit Consult, asterisk, asterisk, $85, 000 C. V. R. The safe's contents followed cashier's checks, the external drive directories, the asterisk, asterisk, board brief. 90-day aggressive plan. Asterisk, asterisk. With bullets that tried to turn ambition into governance. The lapel pin with the wolf's head in company blue sat on the table, small and obscene. Kellerman spoke without throat clearing. We discovered these after a dual-key policy prevented an unauthorized edit to a signed annex, he said. We narrowed edit permissions. We engaged counsel. We preserved chain of custody. I recommend suspension of Director Craig pending investigation and termination for cause of any employee found to have facilitated unauthorized access. Eleanor didn't pivot to outrage. She lifted her chin half an inch. Governance requires observation, she said. The microphone found her voice and gave it the room. Ensuring language aligns early is not malice. It's prudence. The mezzanine is not a boardroom. It is a hallway where people can say hello. Maria's pencil resumed. Observation with clandestine devices is not governance, she said. It's surveillance. And aligning language by inserting guarantee into final is not oversight. It's authorship. Eleanor's gaze slid to the silver-haired director, who had clicked his pen at the last meeting. You like results, she said. Everyone at this table does. The director capped his pen. I like rules that keep our names out of the paper, he said. Counsel adjusted the binder to a new page. We will hear from Ms. Atwater, he said. Denise stood. She didn't clear her throat. I work in translation, she said. Rooms. Not just words. Retention means we honor partnership and risk. Guarantee means we ensure the other side's failure with our cash. She kept it simple. We installed a lock. The lock caught a hand. We followed the hand to a room. The room held ledgers. She felt the thin key in her pocket press its crescent into her palm. The metal gave courage, the way good soil gives roots. Eleanor leaned forward, elbows on wood, voice soft. Miss Atwater, she said, almost kind. Do you believe this company survives headlines about its board wiring the mezzanine? Or do you believe it endures a correction made in a spirit of urgency by someone trying to save it from itself? Urgency breaks things, Denise said. Locks fix the right ones. A murmur ran the table's length, quick and then gone, like a school of fish reconsidering a shadow. Counsel raised a hand. We are not weighing poetry, he said. We are weighing exposure. The external auditor cleared his throat. A sound like gravel placed in a jar. Exposure is contained if action is immediate, he said. Suspension. Independent review. Law enforcement cooperation. Board must be seen as correcting itself. This is not theater. It is therapy. Eleanor's eyes cooled a degree. We brought her up from a mop to teach us virtue, she said. Not loud, not cruel, more like a diagnosis. It flatters the room. Kellerman didn't flinch. She taught me locks, he said. She taught me minutes. The flatterer in this story brought a wolf's head to a safe. Silence arrived in good clothes and took a seat. The silver-haired director clicked once. Another director, a woman with a scar running along her jaw like a hard-earned lesson, leaned toward her microphone. I move to suspend Director Craig pending completion of the review, she said. Effective immediately. Access revoked. Second. Vote. Hands rose. Some slow. Some fast. None happy. Eleanor's mouth did something odd, almost a smile, almost a flinch. Pride made a last stand in the set of her shoulders. You will lose contracts, she said, collecting papers that didn't need collecting. Partners sleep on guarantees, not locks. Then we'll wake them, Denise said. Security didn't touch Eleanor. They just stood so she could calibrate her exit to dignity. She did. The door's seal whispered as she left. Somewhere in the building, a compressor thumped twice, as if reminding everyone air is a privilege that behaves when maintained. Council moved fast to the necessary nouns: notice, holds, engagement, communication plan. The external auditor outlined timelines and thresholds. Maria's pencil chased them, turning verbs into bones. The motion to terminate Victor didn't come. Not today. He sat in the back, not at the table, not outside it, a man deciding whether he would become rumor or witness. Denise looked once. He lifted his chin in a little nod that said he understood the price of sentences. The meeting adjourned at 9. The room uncoiled. Kellerman exhaled a long "Qui pour Atwater," he said, coming to her with that unperformed gratitude he had learned this month. You just bought us time. Locks do that, she said. He looked out at the city. There's a cost, he said. You know that. I already paid some, she answered. I'll keep a receipt. They took the long hall to the mezzanine. Security had stationed a chair outside the taped panel. As if dignity could sit guard, Ron met them there, hands empty, eyes bright in a tired way. He held out the thin key. Time to let this one go, he said. Denise closed her hand around it and felt the heat from his palm still in the metal. She unclipped her night badge from the lanyard she kept in the drawer, the dulled plastic that had swung against her ribs for years. She laid both on the concrete lip by the panel key, badge, small artifacts that had kept her invisible and working. Legacy, Ron said. No sarcasm. Rent paid, she said. They didn't hold a ceremony. They took a picture. They let the badge stay. The investor call at noon felt less like theater and more like math. Maria spoke first on process. The auditor said, asterisk, asterisk, independent asterisk, asterisk like an anchor. Kellerman said, asterisk, asterisk, we asterisk, asterisk, like a verb that requires muscle. Denise said nothing. She watched the chat fill with short words from men who live in data rooms. Understood. Noted. Proceed. Asterisk. The fund with the hawk asked about insurance. Risk answered itself with log. At 2, a delivery arrived for the Atwater room. A cardboard box with a bruised corner, and a return address that insisted on Midtown, New York. Inside, whiteboards, markers, a small kettle with a note taped to its handle. Asterisk, asterisk, rooms change tenants. Hinges stay. Consider this a hinge. M. No last name. Maria's handwriting. She watched Denise read it, then shrugged, embarrassed by kindness. They hung the new whiteboard straight. They boiled water. Mint breathed like a kept promise. Bao showed the interns how to make boxes tell the truth. Tasha from the desk explained triage like a conductor. Ron stood with his hands in his pockets, no keys on his belt and still owner of the place where the floor meets the wall. Before day's end, security's final note landed soft. Asterisk, asterisk. Local PD briefed. State regulator notified. Asterisk, asterisk, and a line from the older officer. Asterisk, asterisk. Sometimes locks are mercy. Asterisk, asterisk. Denise saved the email to a folder named asterisk, asterisk, receipts asterisk, asterisk, and printed it anyway. Paper carries weight that networks pretend to. Evening rinsed the windows with a mild winter blue. The lobby practiced its steady ballet. A cleaner moved the yellow sign a finger's width to make the angle honest. Denise watched from the mezzanine rail and felt that odd combination of smallness and right-sized. That means you did a hard thing, and the world didn't change shape to applaud. Kellerman joined her, hands in his pockets for once. They stood a moment without talking. The building hummed. The key and the badge lay where she'd left them, a tiny shrine to a life that got her here and had to be set down so she could keep walking. "I'm naming a fund," he said, still looking at the lobby, "for internal training. Voice inside. You run it. You won't have time for everything else." "That's not a question," she said. "It's an apology," he said, "and a beginning." She nodded once. "We'll need more chairs. We'll buy them. We'll find them," she corrected. He smiled, because he'd learned that lesson. "We'll find them," he said. They went back to the Atwater room. The plaque caught the last smear of sun and held it without breaking. Denise opened her drawer and took out the anonymous note from months ago. Asterisk, asterisk, we see you. Asterisk, asterisk, and slid it behind the new whiteboard where only someone who knows to look will find it. Motif Deserve Homes. On her way out, she stopped at the reception desk. The marble was cool, indifferent. She laid the night badge flat on it for the second time that month and left it there. No speech, no audience, just an object returned to a building that had finally learned to look back. Outside, winter decided on crisp over cruel. Traffic stitched red into the coming dark. Denise tucked her hands into her coat and felt nothing in her pocket where the thin key had been. The empty was a good weight. It meant a door had closed, and she had not. She crossed on the white. The city exhaled. Somewhere above, a hinge took weight and did its simple saint's work, bearing without boasting. Kit, durable, necessary. She didn't know if the building would stay honest. She didn't know if the next board would choose locks over shortcuts. She didn't know if the word that loves to pay rent it doesn't owe would dress itself up again and try a new door. She knew she would keep minutes. She knew she would brew tea and invite rooms to behave. She knew she would open space for voices no one had budgeted for. She knew more chairs were coming, and the badge on the marble caught a sliver of fluorescent light, glowed a little, then went still. At the close of this story, the message is simple but profound. No life is ever defined by the uniform you wear, the floor you sweep, or the title on your badge. True worth runs deeper, often invisible to those who never bother to look twice. Denise's journey is a reminder that silence and assumption can bury brilliance, but resilience and truth have a way of finding light. As Americans often say, the long road shows the horse, meaning character and perseverance prove themselves over time. Her rise was not about luck or charity, but about being prepared when the moment came, choosing to use her gifts, even when the room didn't expect her to, and the cost was real: doubt from others, loss of comfort, even the weight of betrayal. Yet the outcome was clarity that justice and dignity live in everyday choices, in the locks we put on the right doors, and the doors we choose to open for others. For those who've ever felt unseen or underestimated, her story says, keep going, keep building your skills, your character, your quiet strength. And for those who sit in places of influence, It is a call to look closer, listen better, and never assume that greatness wears a certain suit. Gold fears no fire. As the saying goes, and truth does not diminish under scrutiny, it shines. I'd love to hear what stayed with you most from this journey. Have you ever witnessed someone overlooked finally step into their light? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like if this touched you, and subscribe so you won't miss more stories of resilience and reckoning. May you leave tonight with peace in your heart, and the hope that your light, no matter how long ignored, will be seen.